Hello, welcome back. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time it is for you, and welcome to Beyond Great with me, David James. My guest today is a lifelong, very dear friend, childhood friend of mine. Oh man, ladies, this guy is one fine piece of ass. Too bad he's married. But at one point in this guy's career, he was the number one mogul skier in the world. He's a world champion. He's an Olympic mogul skier, and he's arguably the best athlete I've ever met in my life. He's a professional golfer. He's a scratch golfer. He won a boatload of money in Vegas, a story which you will not believe unless you hear. And he is just an all-around great human being. He's a dear friend of mine. He is Mr. Nathan Blaine Roberts, member of the U.S. Freestyle Mogul Ski Team from Park City, Utah. I've known Nate for a long time. It was really good to sit down with him and learn a little bit more about his childhood and a little deeper into his career. Without further ado, please welcome my next guest, Mr. Nate Roberts. Nate Dogg, you there?
Yes, sir.
What up, dude?
David James.
Dude, I was hoping to start this podcast out with a W or two. I said that weird W. W or two in the ping pong game, but unfortunately you kicked my ass tonight and a little upset about it, but either way. Good.
Had to get the dust off of the table. It's
Yeah.
been a while.
Good to be back at it. Wet. Nate Dogg. Dude, who came up with that name? Do you remember?
Honestly, I think it was after, well, I'll get right to it, Sean Smith.
Let me interrupt you. Let's cheers, dude.
Cheers.
You got a beer and a glass
Thanks
of
for
wine.
having me.
Yeah. Thanks for doing it.
But originally the name came from after winning my first World Cup in Finland years and years ago.
Wait, it was that late in your life?
Did a back full, and everyone was doing D spins and off axis 720s, and aerials were more my thing, and losing sight of the ground was kind of tough for me. So back full seemed to work.
What do you mean losing sight of the ground? Like, because in a back full, you can see the ground the whole way?
The sky or the ground the whole time. Off axis for me, for some reason, it didn't quite click right away. So
Interesting. Dude, I thought this was a name. I don't know why I thought we called you that when you were like 16 or something.
maybe here and there, but nope.
I didn't realize it was in your World Cup career.
Ever since, that happened. Someone said, "You're the first one to do that. What are you going to name it?" I had no idea.
And they call so who's
that wasn't my style. And Sean Smith, hey, I think you need to call it the Nate Dogg. And then ever since then, I mean, if you know Sean, he's pretty good at that, and it stuck.
Dude, rad. I didn't realize it was that late in the game. And then that whole hat game came out, dude. That was like a tidal wave, dude. That was pretty cool.
That was awesome. I mean, it
Was that Stedman and Todd or?
Yeah, Toddy, and obviously Stedman plays a role in a lot of things like that. But yeah, Todd stamped that one and got it going.
Dude, that was crazy. That was like Nate Dogg mania for a while, dude. Those hats in such a small town like Park City, every single person had that hat. Did you guys make money or you just gave them all away?
No, I mean, definitely it wasn't.
Hold the mic up just in
Definitely didn't, make money off of it. That wasn't our goal. I mean, I didn't make millions skiing, but
Well, obviously, but
no, it was amazing that the support that through the community of Park City would show up to
It's
Deer Valley, and
pretty epic, dude.
Yeah,
Everybody had that hat. It was rad. I've known you for a long time, dude, and I don't even know where you're from. It's crazy. Like, are you from Utah?
I was born in Ogden, and then we moved to Park City when I was 6 months old.
6 months?
6
I don't know
months.
why I thought it was like 6 years or
Yeah.
something.
6
Wow.
months.
So you and your mom moved up there.
Yep, and my older
And
sister
Katie.
Katie at the time. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
So.
So the ski game was early for you.
Yep. 3 years old. My parents got me going, and then by the age of 5, growing up in Thanes Canyon, Mom would put me on the city bus and send me up to the resort.
So I had enough of you. Get on that bus.
Yeah.
I'm sick of this.
Yeah.
No way. So would she put you in camp?
No, just she would go skiing with me, and put the leash around and whatnot. But by the age of 5, it was following Sean Smith, Craig Rodman, Todd Sherman, all those guys around, and then at the age of 7, Sean and I believe it was Craig Rodman said to my mom that you need to get this kid competing.
At what age?
At 7.
That was, so you've always been good at sports. Like, you're one of the best athletes I know, truly. And were you dabbling in all kind of sports just growing up, or was it solely skiing at that age? You were just so focused on skiing.
Yes, I've definitely God-gifted ability, and talent for athletics, but skiing was definitely my passion. I didn't play a whole lot of other sports competitively, like on teams. Too small to play on the basketball team, way too small to play football team, Played golf with you, which was amazing. But I didn't pick up golf till, 13, 14 years old. But, yeah, skiing was eat, sleep, and...
Where do you think you got your athleticism? Because both your parents aren't like superstar athletes, so...
my dad was a phenomenal tennis player growing
Okay,
up,
so maybe in their heyday, I just didn't know.
And they'll both take credit for it, My dad used to joke with me all the time, thank goodness you got my natural athletic ability. And my mom, she's, she used to play tennis, golf, So, my whole family's athletic.
Dude, I played tennis my whole life, and I was pretty legit at it. And then you picked it up, and like in a year, you're like, "Oh, I'm better than you." And I was like, "Yeah, suck it."
I played it quite a bit growing up as well, but
Katie was good, right?
Really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. So back to skiing. So, Sean and those guys said at 7 to your mom, like, "We got to get this guy into it. Like, he has a lot of natural talent." And then from there, did you just turn into like were you progressively winning competitions and stuff, or you just started showing talent and they kind of took you under their wing, or what? You're gonna say you won your first competition, aren't you?
Because there was one other kid in my division,
It's good odds, man.
No, this brings back a lot of memories and gives me goosebumps just thinking about, skiing and being so competitive. But yeah, when I was 7, I think I won every event for 3 years. Probably because...
Was there 2 kids in the division for 3 years?
2 to 5 kids, maybe.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And, that's how young I was and the others that I competed with. But, no, I had a gift and I just loved it,
When did you get your first sponsor?
When I was 12. I just got done doing a water ramp show at the Utah Olympic Park. And, Speedy and I... did the first backflip, and this guy, Jeff Gilberti, I still remember his name. He came up to me in the locker room and gave me his business card and said, "You get a hold of me, and we'll take care of all your product."
And for what company? Sorry.
Smith.
Rad.
Yeah.
Dude.
That was the coolest thing.
Still the greatest polls in history. Like, I don't know why they discontinue those things. Do you have a pair of those still?
I don't think I do.
Those are legendary.
Maybe amongst the family, there's probably a pair sitting in someone's garage.
So from a young age, did a lot of these guys, the Sean Smiths and Shermans and Rodmans, we're name dropping here. Did they take you under their wing and stuff? Were these guys excited to see young and up and coming talent onto the ski scene, or, did you get taken under your wing? I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. If I wouldn't have probably gotten into a freestyle event if it wasn't them, pursuing my mom saying, "Hey, you got to have this kid enter some events." But it was more so me just tagging along and staying off in the distance and following them double jack thanes, at Park City Mountain Resort. That was
sickest run in history.
That was our run. Do that over and over and over. I don't know how many times every day we go skiing.
So were these guys, when you got into the competition scene, was there a little bit older guys that were kind of the hot shots that you started to become a threat to? And were they cool about it, or they see you as a threat, just become like essentially dicks?
Well, when I was that young, there was times like skiing, I think it was Snow Fox or the White Owl up at Snowbird, but Silver Fox. But
they made that a bump run.
that was my first competition
on Silver Fox.
On Silver Fox.
I can't even visualize where that'd
It
be.
was steep, right
Yeah,
off
because it's a big mountain run, but I've never seen
Wilbur
moguls
chair.
on it.
But yeah, I mean, you couldn't see me in between the bumps here and there. But then all of a sudden, spread eagles back in the day. But
Yeah, duh.
yeah,
You
catching
daffy.
air. But no, I think everybody was supportive. But then obviously you get to a competitive spot where start threatening people and whatnot. But competition's competition.
Because your room was decorated with so many medals. It was almost like you bought them to like, just like like the poser. Like I would do this with my skateboard, like grind it on a rail, pretending like I would just sit there and rub my skateboard on a rail so I could look cool. And it's almost like you did that with your medals, but it was legit. And so it was disheartening for someone like me who I was fighting for 12th place in my age division, and you were winning the competition. But that's rad, dude. I mean, because I feel like there had to be some kind of butthurt people about the situation. I mean, you were.
I don't know. I mean, as
Come on, let's throw out the names right now.
It gets more competitive, and Park City is a small town, back in the day, but tons of tremendous athletes, still to this day. But
it was probably, you know what it was, dude? It was the gelled hair with the headband, dude.
The bleached hair, probably.
Dude, the bleached hair, frosted tips.
Maybe some
I'll
earrings
tell you
thrown
what,
in there.
when you look back at that style, that was legit back then. And I tried to rock it, but like I said, when you're getting 12th in your age division, you just can't rock it, man.
No, I've got a nephew. I just found out the other day. He wants to bleach his hair, and I just look back at those photos and go, "Buddy, you don't need to do that."
I disagree, Nate.
You don't need to do
it's
that,
something
buddy.
a young man needs to do to realize that we all have a
Good
douche
times.
phase.
Yes.
I rocked in my 98 degrees frosted tips. When it came to like the ski team, I mean, refresh my memory, but I feel like you were as dominant as you were in the scene as a young kid. I feel like you were a late bloomer to the U.S. team. Is that correct?
Oh, definitely. I mean,
What age did you make the team?
and here's a great story. I mean, this is still one of the best stories that I share with you. Just growing up and being so close and skiing wise and whatnot. But yeah, I made the team when I was 18, and then that first fall, I partially tore my meniscus. It took me a period of time to get back, and so they dropped me in the spring. So I was on the team for 6 months, maybe. And then after that, I made it the next fall again, and 12 years later, broken back and retired. But when talking about a late bloomer, during the Olympics, I made the team of 2001, 2002 when the Olympics came to Park City, and got balls.
Yeah, dude.
We built that road gap up by your house, Rossi Hill, and I just remember. I mean, gives me goosebumps. But we sent that thing over and over again, jumping cars, whatever, people, and watching people walk up to the venues at Deer Valley for the Olympics, and just visualizing that one day I'm gonna ski in the Olympics.
I was just visualizing, don't land on the road. Don't land on the road.
Or the snowbank across the road.
Oh, dude, I forgot about, I forget everything. My wife always makes fun of me for that shit. But, dude, I forgot that you were part of that. And we went up the day before and hit it. And I guinea pigged it. And I landed on the road. And I'm so lucky I didn't, like, break my legs or back. Or, like, I landed on 65 feet to asphalt. And then you show up and you, like, just with your experience, you like took half the in round, you pumped it, you speed checked it, and you go, I'm good. And you hiked to the top and just sent it. And I was like, God damn it. But you're right. That was such a sick thing. Like all those people walking to the venue, and they were like, we were like a pre-Olympics to the
crowds,
Olympics.
I mean, they would stop
Thousands of people. It was
the bottom
cool.
of the street and watch, and you spray painted on the back of the jump, got balls, ?
And my neighbor, who was like 70 at the time, she goes, go Bulls. I didn't know David was a Chicago fan. And then the Olympics, I don't know if you remember this, we went up to go watch Speedy at the aerials, and my dumbass lost my ticket in the parking lot. Remember that?
That's right.
So we didn't even get to go to the event.
Yeah.
Oh, what a Joey, dude.
No, but being a late bloomer, I mean, in Bloom, I mean, speaking of, tremendous athletes, Travis Mayer and Jeremy Bloom. You know, I mean, those guys are 19 years old. You know, our age, and you know, competing in the Olympics, and you know, Travis winning a silver medal, and you know, it's my time didn't come until later on. So yeah, it was definitely a later bloomer, but it all worked out, I think.
I would think most people would say that, Nathan. That was the dinner roll year, dude.
Yep.
Mosley. That talk about progression of the sport. That guy has done more for the sport of mogul skiing, even skiing in general. It's pretty cool to see how he's kept on top.
That guy definitely changed the game, and without him, I mean, who knows if the sport would still even be one today.
You ever
know?
keep in touch with that guy?
No, I mean, whenever I see him at an event or something like that, say hey or whatnot.
I was working at River Horse and ran into him. I've never met him, and it was funny. I'm like, I don't get starstruck ever, and I was like nervous to talk to Mosley, and I'm like, all right, this guy's not that big of a star. He was famous 20 years ago, and literally. And I went up to him, and I just dropped a bunch of names. I dropped your name and Schmitty and Robin. We chatted for 10 minutes, but I was like, man, it took me 20 years to meet this guy, and I knew he was a cool dude, but I couldn't believe I'd never met him. But just as, you know, surrounded in the community as I've been.
Laid back.
Yeah, he had some kind of ski event going on. It was pretty rad. So you're on the team. You got a little taste of the good life. Did your personal life change, you know, once you became into that realm? I mean, the sport of mogul skiing is pretty small as it is. However, like in a small town like Park City, did you notice like your stature become more elevated as you progressed on the tour?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's, you know, you've got so many people in a small community that's cheering for you. You know what I mean?
Totally.
And, you know, wearing a jacket with USA on it is pretty incredible. You know?
Didn't you try to give that jacket to Tiger Woods?
No. Yeah. Actually,
weren't you peeing next to him at Harrio's?
Yep. I took a piss next to Tiger, and I just looked over at him. I didn't like introduce myself, or I just said, "Tiger, you're the man." You know? And yeah, I mean, he still is the man,
dude.
But, yeah,
go Tiger.
Great.
That's awesome.
Great
Tried to
story.
pawn your ski team jacket
Talk
off on
about being
Tiger Woods.
starstruck, you know.
Dude, that's like that's my only one, I think.
But yeah, lots of stories.
Dude, I love that. So yeah, like, I mean, so a lot of these doors into these clubs and restaurants are kind of being opened up. Do you think that in Europe, I noticed this when I was on the Big Mountain Tour, like those guys, and even in ski racing, like, you know, like a Ted Ligety in Europe is way more of a superstar than he is in America. Like, was it the same with moguls? Like, as you went over there, these guys were just, because some of the Big Mountain Tour guys, they come over and they had sponsors like Audi and BMW, and we were sponsored by like Devon's Pizza and like.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely depends on you know, which country, which city, which town you were in. But the biggest thing was like in Japan for mogul skiing. Japan was like the NFL over here. I mean, they have magazines with your pictures, stories about you. I mean, when I won in Japan in Inawashiro, there would be hundreds and hundreds of people. I mean, there's three runs on this mountain, but at this really nice hotel, and there would be hundreds and hundreds, even thousands of fans lining up all the way to the door, and you'd be signing brand new Phoenix jackets.
Now, is this for
makeup
all
kits.
athletes or just mostly the Japanese?
Oh, I mean, all athletes, you know. I mean, they definitely
Japan.
loved Americans. They loved the Finns. I mean, Yanni, you know, Mikko, you know, Sami Mustonen. I mean, they were mogul skiers were NFL football players.
No kidding.
I mean, you would be signing brand new goggles on the lenses, you know, like it was
cool.
It was incredible. They would hang out in the lobby for.
So were their athletes getting paid better than most athletes on tour, I'd assume then? I know Japan wasn't a huge force in the scene, but
I honestly can't talk numbers. I don't know exactly what they were making. I mean, everybody but the United States, I mean, their government funds their teams, you know. U.S. ski team's a nonprofit, so
yeah, let's talk about that.
Like,
so what's up with that sponsorship pool that they have in the USSA?
If you're talking the ski team pool as in like equipment.
Yeah, walk me through it. Like when you're an athlete sponsored by the U.S. ski team, how's that work?
If I've got this correct, I mean, every, you know, Under Armour, they have to pay the ski team certain amount of money, whatever, to
So every company has to pay a fee, $20,000, let's say,
whatever it
to
is,
get into a pool, correct?
to use
to be eligible
the
to
ski
sponsor.
team name, or you put Under Armour on the clothing.
But what if I want to sponsor Nate Roberts and I'm a shoe company? Do I have to pay the $20,000 just to sponsor Nate Roberts? How does that work?
And that's a tough subject to talk about, because yes, you can. I mean, I was on Ogasaka's ski company for a period of time, and I got, told I couldn't ski on them, or I had to duct tape them because they didn't pay the money in the pool. But that was the best equipment that I was skiing on, and it was given to me. So,
and as an
but yes,
athlete,
you
I
have
mean, you're in a business. Like, you got to support yourself. Like, if Under Armour doesn't want to sponsor Nate Roberts, but Ogasaka does, or whoever the comparison product is, why it's bullshit is what it is.
It's very tough.
I mean,
and that's why
you're going to pad this because you probably know people and stuff. But Nate, there's going to be 12 people that listen to this podcast. I just think it's crap. I mean, it's a. Let me ask you this: if you were to do it differently, if you were to change the way the USSA does their sponsorship pool, how would you do it? Like, if you had a consulting role or something.
Oh, I would be open to letting every single athlete pick their own equipment, what works for them, and the way that they could pay the bills, in the off season. I mean, skiing's a full-time thing at any level you want to be the best at. It's 24/7, and I mean, most athletes that I skied with, we'd have to have a summer job,
Totally, you're a painter,
exactly. I painted a lot of homes, and it's good to get away, but at the same time, stressing about going to the gym, or how am I going to pay for the upcoming season? I didn't come from a bunch of money. Family makes sacrifices, and they helped pave the way to do it, but it's stressful times.
So you'd want it to be more like an NBA or something, just like where, I mean, the ski team doesn't pay you, but any athlete's eligible to go do whatever they want.
Exactly. Find their own contract or own equipment, and not have to have that company pay the ski team to be able to use it.
And that's just the ski team kind of holding the monopoly and holding the balls of the industry, basically, and saying, this is, if you're not going to enter into this. So why would a company even want to sponsor the ski team?
I mean, having the U.S. ski team or snowboard patch, affiliated with that company is actually a pretty big deal.
So is it the same way with alpine skiing too?
Stuff that way. Yeah, I mean, but look what Bodie did with Team America. I mean, he ventured out on his own,
but so all like Ligety or Vaughn sponsors and stuff, like for instance, Red Bull sponsors Lindsey Vaughn. Is that a side contract, or they pay the U.S. ski team that $20,000 and then they pay Lindsey X?
I don't know, but Alpine was a whole different animal than mogul skiing.
So it's not part of. Is it? I keep saying USSA, but is it FIS or is it? What's different about it?
No, USSA is the same thing, but I'm saying Alpine was a way bigger, sport
revenue generator.
Absolutely. I mean, it's
yeah.
And over in Europe, I mean, it's the real deal.
Totally. Those guys are rock stars over there.
And they deserve it, but, every athlete here in, America that's doing the same stuff, I believe deserves the same chance and should be able to pave their own way of making a living doing it.
Yeah. I mean, you're putting yourself out there and putting your body on the line. You should be able to allow us to be able to negotiate a contract for what you feel you're worth, and someone's willing to pay you for it. I mean, like, you didn't have a ski sponsor for a while. You're one of the best skiers in the world. You didn't have a ski sponsor. Maybe you were the best skier in the world without a ski sponsor at one point in your career.
Yeah, the skis said for rent for a period of time.
That's crazy. So, I mean, that's amazing with the amount of money. But speaking of money, dude, we got to talk about Vegas, bro.
Vegas.
So I'm going to slightly break this down for the listeners, and you got to take the story, because you and Speedy were in Vegas, and you went with like $1,000.
Not even.
$500.
$800.
$800. Speedy went with $5,000, $10,000.
I don't.
Speedy had a little more of a bankroll, but you two of you were gambling at the Mirage, and you were up what?
So we went there for 2 nights. I think we were supposed to be there for 2 nights. Just did the pool thing, the cabanas, whatever. And I mean, Speedy was a player. He knew what he was doing. When we were 18 years old in Quebec one year at a ski competition, he was online, just playing 21. Blackjack.
Just schmitzing it.
And I had no idea really. I mean, I knew what blackjack was, but I never played it and whatnot. So, that it goes way back. But, back to Vegas, did the pool thing, had a good time. Speedy's playing in the high limit room, and I'm up in my hotel room getting ready. I'm supposed to fly out from the Mirage, in Vegas, and I get a phone call from our other buddy Jay, and says, "Hey, you got to come get Speedy."
Panther?
No, Jay Keeley from Boise,
Okay.
one of Speedy's best buds. And he's like, "You got to come get Speedy. He's getting kicked out of the Mirage." So I go down there, and my flight's, I think I'm supposed to take off around midnight. I go down there, and the pit boss is talking to Speedy, and and Speedy wasn't doing anything wrong, but he was just raking the Mirage in the highlight room for $40,000. And Speedy was swearing, "Fuck yeah," every time he'd win a hand. Like getting
As you
excited,
should.
not being belligerent
But
or
he's
anything.
taking their money.
But the pit boss, I guess, did not take a liking to that, and so I came down and, all right, speedballs, let's go. So we go, and the pit boss goes, "Speedy, I don't want to hear." He called him Jared. "Jared, I don't want to see you play, on my floor again." Of course, if you know Speedy, he walked around the corner to just a regular table, throws down, I don't know the dollar amount, blah, blah. Then the guy comes around, "Jared, I told you, you're out of here," this and that. So the pit boss, I don't know what you'd call him, was in charge of
The floor manager.
manager, whatever, but comes over and, grabs Jarrett and said, "Hey, the Treasure Island next door is affiliated with us. You can go play next door," And Speedy's, a hot head. He's all fired up. And so next thing you know, what time is it? I'm missing my flight. So we walk next door, Speedy J and I, we walk next door to the Treasure Island, and Speedy's ready to go. I go jump on the, normal $10, $20 tables, and I get this text message. Speedy goes, "Dude, meet me at club, whatever it was." Okay. I go meet Speedy. They've got a table for us. Speedy's up $80,000 at the Treasure Island. So we go and have a couple beers at this bar, and Jay and Speedy and I are just like, "What just happened?" I'm up like $800 on just the regular tables. I'm like, "This is awesome,"
You're stoked.
And next thing you know, Speedy, within like 10 minutes, he's like, I'm going back there. He takes off, and Jay and I are sitting there looking at each other, drinking our beer, and then it just hit. We're like, we better go check on him. So we go back in there, and he's in the high limit room, and we sit down next to him, and I think the minimum bet was 500. I put it down. Speedy knocks my chips out of the way and puts $5,000 down, and that was the bet that probably went on for, I don't know, 30 minutes, but won that bet, gave back. We started playing 3 hands, and definitely
Now, was Jay part of this too?
not at the beginning. He just kind of hung back. I mean, we're adrenaline junkies,
Yeah, but you're
Speedy
playing
and
with
I,
Speedy's
but-
money, essentially.
And he knocks it out.
So
and,
why wouldn't Jay?
But
why would
he's
he
playing
sit?
with house money at the time, and so bets go on and on and on, and then Jay gets in, and I mean we got to.
I'm getting nervous just listening to this.
I mean, well, it's just like you're thinking
Yeah.
about it as I'm trying to spit it out.
Totally.
I can just picture the room still. I can picture 6 pit bosses and their bosses watching us, and we're just a
yeah, who are these
couple.
punks count
We're
cards?
just a couple, kids drinking beers. I mean, we're tipping, the waitress to go 20 feet to grab us a beer. I mean, $1,000 chip. It was insane. Not playing by the book. I mean,
So how long did you run it?
we started probably about 12:30. My flight was supposed to take off. We got to $400,000, and I'd play 2 hands. Speedy would play 1, vice versa. Jay jumped in, and Speedy would kind of just throw the chips down.
Yeah.
But then we'd just do our hits and whatnot. We got to 400,000, and Speedy goes, "Let's go next door and buy a Maserati." I'm like, "Dude, no." And it's just like, okay. And he didn't even bat an eye. We kept playing. We got to 600.
Wasn't the goal to get to $1 million or something?
And that's when, we had to stop it. But we got to, 650 something. And then it was like, okay, what should we do? Speedy's like, we're going. Gets to like over 7, and Speedy goes, we're getting it to 1 million. And I looked at him. I said, dude, let's walk. And this was after 6 a.m. And he goes, all right, we're done. And next thing you know, I mean, the pit boss who got Speedy and brought him over to the Treasure Island when he was getting kicked out, I think Speedy probably tipped him $50,000. I mean, it was just an insane and it was lucky. It'll never happen again. But yeah, we went out there and
Holy
Speedy
shit.
said, the guy's like, you want to check, blah, blah. Speedy goes, that's fine, but I want to see all the cash. And if Speedy's, the stubborn little bastard, but he made them stack $628,000.
What a dick.
$628,000 behind the little jail bars right there. And then he goes, okay, we're good. You can write me a check. Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, it was insane.
How much I mean, how high was it, dude? I've never seen that amount of money, obviously.
Oh,
cash.
I mean, it was stacked up. I mean, you'll see it in the movie, It was, yeah.
They should make a movie out of that, speaking of which.
Crazy.
Dude.
So, yeah, then.
So, did Jay get some of that? You guys split it 3 ways or something?
Yeah, Jay. I mean, I don't know exactly what Jay got, but, yeah, Speed took care of us. And then all of a sudden it was like 6:30 in the morning. And it's like, okay, they got us a penthouse upstairs. And I'm like, Speedballs, I'm going to go use the restroom. I'll see you in a minute. I went right back to the Mirage, to my hotel, went to sleep, and got up and got on the next flight in the morning.
I don't know if you remember, I was in Vegas that time. I was there for Danny Murphy's 21st birthday.
Okay, yeah.
And I ran into you like, I don't know, 12 hours before or something.
Yeah.
And then you called me the next morning. I was
right.
I was like, bullshit, dude.
Yeah.
And you're like, dude, I swear. I was like, BS. And
Yeah.
I came home and you had a stack of, because didn't you have like a $25,000 chip or something? Or
I
4?
woke up and there's $20,000 in my pocket.
20 grand in your pocket. Yeah. So then you came to Schmitty's house and you had the cash. And I was like, oh, it's real.
It's crazy. Yeah. The hotel got me a car to the airport and everything.
What an experience, dude. I mean, like you said, it's a once in a lifetime thing. I mean, to experience something like that is so cool. It's like winning the lottery, but probably.
Oh, definitely. And it's like playing the way the book says and stuff like that. I mean, I don't know exactly. I mean, better be lucky than good, but it was definitely, hitting on ridiculous stuff, and it was insane.
It just happened.
Yeah.
It's like.
It is a phenomenal story.
It's like playing golf and shooting a 58 or something. You just can't repeat it, but the magic was there. That's epic. Speaking of magic, you were the first American to win the World Championships, correct?
Yep.
How many World Cup W's did you have prior to that?
Oh, I don't know. Off the top of my head, maybe 3.
So that was a big moment for you.
Maybe 3.
Was it unexpected, or
I turned my life around?
Like I said, I forget everything, and so my timeline's off. Were you the yellow bib at the time?
No. I wore the yellow bib for, I don't know, maybe a couple weeks, honestly.
In your whole career?
But my first 5 years on the team, I never finished 5th in the world.
Wow.
But I never. I was consistent, but
you just didn't have the breakthrough.
I would.
Why do you think that is?
Because I'd go for it. I'd win or lose. I never.
Do you ever regret that?
No. That was just my personality, and whenever I tried to reel it in or reel it back, that's when I'd make more mistakes, or I do not regret going for it.
Epic, dude. As you shouldn't. And then this bib behind us is a 3rd place, right?
That was 3rd overall. Yep.
Overall.
That was for the year. Yep. Jeremy Bloom was number 1 in the world. That was the year I won World Championships. And then Dale Begsmith was 2nd in the world, and I was 3rd in the world.
God, Dale Begsmith.
Yeah.
That guy's a beast. And Bloom, dude.
For sure.
Dude, you can't ask for a more difficult crew to come up 2nd and 3rd, too.
Oh, those first 5 years, we had 6 Americans in the top 12 in the world. That's how competitive it was.
Wow. And now we have like
Dawson's,
one in the top 40 or something.
But that's just how competitive it was, and it was One hell of an experience.
That's epic, dude. So once again, my timelines are all messed up. So you win the world championship. You're kind of coming into your prime. You're wearing the yellow bib. You're kind of on the domination scene. You know, you're going head to head with the top athletes in the world, i.e. Bloom and Cabral and Toby Dawson. I'm talking Americans. And you're on the bubble, right, for the Olympics in, what was it, Sochi?
2006, Torino.
Torino.
Yeah.
You're on the bubble, and they took 4 spots.
Yep.
Someone got the gold cup, correct? Or was that Bloom?
Yeah, no, that was,
Bloom was a
won that year,
lockdown.
but it's just, that secured the spot.
But you and Cabral were like tied for 4th, right? Or was it 3rd? Either way.
We were both.
You guys are on the bubble,
It
both
was-
of you. Same points list, but like in a different way. You
One
had
of
a
the
couple
one or two of us,
podiums, and he just had a bunch of
going.
consistencies of 4ths and 5ths and stuff.
Yep.
You come down that fucking run, you slay it, but you snap your pole, right? At the
Yeah.
top of the first air.
Lake Placid.
At
Yep.
the bottom of you land the first air, you snap your pole, and you ski an entire run pretty much flawlessly. As flawless as you could ski without a pole. And you missed it by a slot, right?
Yeah, so I qualified 3rd. And I make it down in that finals run. You know, I got a trip to the Olympics in my prime, defending world champion. You know, I was 4th in the world at the time.
What was Cabral? 5th?
7th maybe.
All right.
But my top finish of the year so far was a 5th place. You know, world championship doesn't count towards the Olympics.
Yeah.
Otherwise, obviously, I'd have been there. But I snapped my pole on the top air landing and skied this whole run and stick the bottom air and 4 bumps from the finish, head over heels through the finish line.
Oh, I don't remember you fell.
Yeah.
I thought you skied it, but just kind of a little sloppy.
Up and
Okay.
down. So that was it.
Yeah, it was heavy.
Yeah.
I mean, something to show your character. I remember talking to your mom that afternoon, and she was crying to me, and she just said, these little kids came over and asked you for an autograph, and you just learned that you didn't make the team, and you had tears streaming down your face, and yet you still signed the autographs. And that just shows your character. You know, that was pretty epic, and how you – but, I mean, what a heavy hit. I mean, you're so close. I mean, you've worked your whole career and life for this lifelong goal. And did you go into like a mini dark time for that, or were you able to bounce back and get pretty resilient?
Absolutely. I mean, never, you know, I mean, I hear that story quite a bit from others, you know, of character, and, you know, that's the greatest compliment that you could ever have. You know what I mean? Like, those kids look up to you, and I mean, what an honor that is. And I mean, I looked up to, you know, Sean Smith, Craig Rodman, Johnny Mosley, you know, and things like that. But yeah, that was devastating. I mean, because I worked for a lifetime and I was in my prime, and for some reason it just wasn't meant to be. And I'm a firm believer in that. And yeah, I didn't go to Torino, and it's tough when you're watching it, the Olympics, and they mention your name, that the world champion's not even there competing. I mean, yeah, that's tough, and that put me in a little spot. I mean, I thought about retirement, and said I went and bought a dirt bike and rallied and raced. And, yeah. And Speedy and I did that for, you know, quite a while with my brother-in-law Matt and Jake Zemansky, an Alpine racer, and
You got good at that.
we raced and raced and raced. And
God,
that's
you're
the best,
dirty.
best workout in the world.
Yeah, that's one of like the most underrated sports. I mean, like the amount of force that bike is jerking back into your body, your forearms, your legs, your back, your abs. Like, dude, you're getting worked.
You know, and I don't know how long ago it was, but they did a study or something that the most physical sport in the world, what would you say it is?
Well, now I'd say it's dirt biking.
Dirt biking, okay, but back in the day, you know, I would say NFL.
I'd say
You know?
rugby.
Because rugby, you know, every play, someone's getting hit and
Yeah.
whatnot. But they used to say motocross was. I mean, it's.
But it's one of those things you're like, yeah, right, you're driving a machine, but like you're constantly just taking
you have to hold onto that bike with your legs more than
yeah.
you know,
I mean,
and
you're holding on
30-minute
to
motos.
a fucking machine that's
it's-
trying to
it's
throw
in-
you off it. It's like a horse with a motor, dude.
and adrenaline's the best drug. But once I kind of took myself away from, the ski team, that summer and, raced and raced and raced. And then I crashed, broke a couple ribs in my back, separated my shoulder, bruised the lung. And that's when it was like, you're not going to make a living dirt biking. You know what I mean? What is your ultimate passion? What are your goals? Are you going to let them go, or are you going to fight for them? And that's when I gave up dirt biking and really went to pursue skiing again.
Good for you. I mean, so then you grind back for 4 fucking years, dude.
Not even that. Still one of the greatest things ever was that next year I came back and won the Deer Valley World Cup.
Oh, yeah, dude.
That was
that winter.
That was that winter.
Wow.
So, that was still to this day one of the winning worlds was amazing, but winning in your hometown with all those people in the community that supported you. And
was that your only W at Deer Valley?
Yeah. I got a second and a couple fourths, but.
Walk me through the feeling of that start gate, dude. That's something I've always, first of all, like the way my brain works is I love solidarity. Is that the word?
Yeah.
Thanks, Nate. I love the mindset of getting in the zone. And so like I always visualize, I've never had this moment, being on a chairlift by myself in the dark going up to a competitive run. Like I know what it's like to be on a chairlift with a bunch of people during the day going to my competitive run and how nervous and focused I am. But like walk me through that like moment of like that's such a cool scene, looking down that crowd in the dark with the lit up course, hearing everyone roar at you, but like leading up to it, dude, like getting on that chairlift, dude. I mean, I'm getting chills thinking about it.
Oh, it's goosebumps on every hair in my body standing up, and still does. Even when I go up ski a regular day at Deer Valley and you look up at Champion, and you always have those memories. But the singles was, late afternoon during the day, but still riding up there by yourself. You're visualizing, and standing on top of the podium at the end of the day, but it's so hard.
But looking down that mogul course at night, dude, that's got to be sick as fuck, dude.
You can see everybody's breaths, and 6,000 plus people and just cheering and cheering and cheering. It's something that.
Is it the coolest venue on the tour?
Hands down.
Sick.
In the world and always will be.
Oh, that's so cool to hear.
It's amazing.
So, come back, boom, battle back, Olympics, but you're kind of out of it as far as the length of your career now, per se. But regardless, dude, you fulfilled your childhood dream, right?
Yep. Obviously no regrets.
Hashtag no regrets.
I, missed the whole 2009 season with a knee injury. Surgery, microfracture, all that awesome stuff. And so I missed all 2009. I came back Olympic year 2010, and I skied in Finland. Hadn't skied and competed in an event in over a year. Qualified third the first run, and I'm like, wow, I'm back. Didn't miss a beat. That finals run, again, win or lose, went for it, overshot the landing on the bottom. Boom, there goes my knee. And, I could feel it, but it's like, okay, we've got another event tomorrow. If we can reel it in just a little bit, we'll be okay. And I ended up finishing third. And I got a podium. So we had 3 more events before, qualification of the Olympic team was picked. And I skied 1 more. And then I just said, we'll see what happens, but my knee, I can't do it. If I'm supposed to be there in the Olympics, I'll be there. So I took the next couple of weeks off, and no one else made a podium. So I made the team, trained hard at our Olympic camp in Steamboat, and still nursing my knee. But there was no doubt that I was going to go to the Olympics and live my dream, and ultimately try to go and win.
Dude, like, I mean, every child has a dream, obviously, and a lot of young men and women have a dream in athletics. You know, if you're in any kind of athletics, you'll be a professional soccer player, win the Masters, whatever it is. But like 0.01% of them actually fulfill that dream, and so for you to tap into that and put 25 plus years of your life into that's such an accomplishment. And I mean, the opening ceremony, I remember seeing you and Speedy and walking through that stadium and shit, dude, like childhood friends, like marching down, dude. I mean, what an epic journey and to, represent your country. And I mean, I think obviously you want to win, but like that alone was the W almost,
I mean, standing in that tunnel and, they go alphabetical order, but the host country gets to, go last and be in Canada and such big rivals, especially in mogul skiing. But, I mean, the USA and Canada chants going back and forth was like the movie 300. I mean, it was insane.
That's awesome.
You can't, I'll never forget that. But yeah, and Speedy, I mean, he knew what it meant to me. And, I mean, he would take photo after photo or video after video of me going through the opening ceremonies. I mean, he's been there. He did that. And it just kind of showed the man that he was and, cared for us and what we had accomplished. I mean, without him, I wouldn't have even been close to going to the Olympics.
Well, I disagree with that, but it's good that you had the good friendship to help each other through the tough times and lift each other up and kind of just fulfill each other's childhood dreams. But yeah, you absolutely would be Nate Roberts without anybody.
But
so
no one at 8 years old could compete. I mean, I don't want this to be arrogant, but compete with me, but Speedy.
No, yeah, he definitely pushed you. Yeah, I don't doubt that.
Exchange.
But I don't discredit yourself and what you've done. So, I mean, all right, so let's follow through to the end of your career. I mean, you into this bitch with a double backflip, or you were gonna. That was your attempt. It was to do a double backflip and essentially kind of throw a bird to fist, right? And tell them they need to change the regulations of the sport. Correct?
I wanted to do what Johnny Mosley did for the sport. Take it to the next level. And I mean, everybody's doing D-spin 1080s, but that wasn't in my repertoire. But double backflips like doing a 720 for me. And that's, yeah.
It's still not approved, right?
It was always, not that I'm aware of. That was always my vision was, let's go stomp one of these, in competition. And if I was thinking clearly when I blew out at the Olympics, in the finals and did a double then, I mean, who knows if that would have helped. But obviously it's going so fast and, it didn't happen, but.
Well, you're thinking about doing a good run. You're not thinking about
but
changing the sport.
After I blew out in the midsection, after the top air, like thinking back to those kind of things, like maybe if I do have a regret, that would be one to.
Fair enough, but it's tough to manifest in the start gate. Like, okay, if I fuck up, I'm gonna do this. No, you got to be. You got to say, I'm gonna slay this run.
I mean, I've only seen it twice, but the smile that I had in that start gate and the feeling that I had, I mean, you're definitely not thinking about that. You're soaking everything in and you're going to give it your all, win or lose. I mean, that was how I got there.
I bought a TV at Best Buy. I didn't own a TV, and I was like, the day before, I was like, I need a fucking TV for this shit. And I went to Best Buy and bought a TV and rabbit ears to stream the event. Truly. And I stood in my living room on my couch, and my roommate's like, what are you doing, dude?
Best Buy should sponsor you or give you a refund or something.
Yeah, this podcast is brought to you by Best Buy. That's epic, Nate. So you do the double backflip. Did you mail it in or something? You like send him a tape and was like, hey.
No. So I did an exhibition events in Sweden. In this dual event at Alpine World Championships. They put on this mogul exhibition event. And
cool.
I got second, but yeah, I threw it down 4 out of 4 runs and. I mean, it's just the greatest thing. And then after that, I went on to win in Japan. Every time I did the double backflip, the next week I went on to win.
You should go do a double backflip
I
this
know.
season and then just enter a local competition.
Old and washed up now.
What do you think the sport is lacking? Because what do you think they need to do to progress? Because I grew up loving watching mogul skiing, and maybe I was a little biased because I had, people in my court, i.e., you and Bloom and a couple other people that I could go to these competitions and say, there's a good friend of mine. But the sport is getting so boring. It's redundant. You go to a competition and nothing has changed, dude. I mean, nothing. And is there any progression for moguls? Because you can only go so big and land in a mogul field.
It's been talked about myself and teammates for years and whatnot. But I think dual moguls is an X Games sport. But the bottom hit, you make it a tabletop. You ski a top section duels, the middle section, and then the final hit is, a tabletop.
I like that, kind of bringing the old school to the new school.
That's how you're going to, because everybody wants to see duels. It's action-packed.
Duels
Technique,
is pretty
not
sick.
As much. It's balls
because you
to
don't
the
need to
wall
know anything about mogul skiing. It's basically first down, essentially.
But who knows exactly about a technique and a turn in a mogul?
That's what I'm saying. So you're watching just a rabbit race down that you're voting red or blue and you're just cheering it on. It's like a horse race.
Exactly.
So, all right, I like that because the sport is just it's done. I don't know. I actually don't know the numbers, but to me the sport's dead because, dude, Johnny Mosley in 2002 did that. We're coming up on over 15 years and they're still doing the same tricks. Yep. It's annoying.
It's tough.
And the fact there's a regulation that you can't do a double backflip. It's like people are doing quad corks 1660s or something in the half pipe or whatever they're doing.
I don't know exactly how much a pair of skis weighs, but people are doing double backflips on snowmobiles, and those things weigh over 500 pounds.
Well said.
You know what I mean? And that's action sports where X Games gets it and people tune into it. So
I wonder if it would take off with the X Games. I think the duels would be definitely a kicker because without the duels, it's because like aerials too. Like for me, aerials, like I don't know what the hell those guys are doing. They're just spinning, and all I know is, did they keep their feet tight and did they stick the landing?
Stick the landing, yeah.
I can't
see, that's where how do you push the limit? Let them do quads.
Well, it doesn't matter.
Done,
they're just spinning for a spectator sport. That is,
yep.
Like it's more dangerous for the athlete. It's more technical for the athlete, and it's way sicker for the athlete. But for the spectator, they're just like Speedy that Hurricane. He's just spinning faster as a spectator, and I'm like, all right, did he land it or not?
And it is insane. But yes, the sport, it's kind of like everybody's hit their peak. Are they going to let them do quads, 4 flips on an aerial site, where it's been done before, but not in competition,
Totally.
Or doubles in the bumps. Something's going to have to happen, or
who knows if it'll die? I just feel like it's kind of like ballet skiing almost.
It's a marketing thing, though, too, that they're not getting the advertisement when it's here. They need to be live. They don't need to be shown a week later after the results,
True. Kind of like X Games.
Yeah.
It's I'd like to see that viewership, the ratings.
Whenever I would travel around the world and I'd get in an elevator with someone and they'd be like, oh, what are you doing? Oh, I ski for the ski team, mogul skier. Oh my gosh, that's the greatest event, You watch the Olympics and the ratings for mogul skiing is off the charts.
It's fun. It's fun to watch.
But you cannot get those on a day-to-day basis on an event where they should be live streaming or whatnot for an event.
How the hell did you get into golf? All this adrenaline junkiness to just easing the tension, baby.
It's all in the hips. Golf was just such a great off-season, competitive game to play. 90% of skiing for me was, mental. 10% of it's talent. There's so much talent out there. And, I always looked at it, if you can focus for 4.5, 5 hours on a golf course, you better be able to focus for 20 to 30 seconds on a mogul hill, But it was just something, the challenge. The challenge in golf is the most...
There's nothing like it.
I don't know how to explain. We played high school golf together, and
no, if you don't play golf, you can't
It's just so tough. But these days in teaching golf is, those people hit a good shot once, they want to come back, but they hit those bad shots and they know they can do better.
It's like it's kind of like a drug almost. It's pretty incredible how, and the schizophrenic, that comes out in you, like how you just hate it and you love. I've never seen something in my entire life where you can be miserable the entire time and you still come back tomorrow to play. Because, dude, if I'm miserable like skiing every day, I'm not going to want to go skiing the next day. Like, or playing basketball, I'm like, this sucks. Like, let's go play basketball. No, I miss every shot I take. But I can put every shot in the trees and somehow be like, let's go tomorrow. Like,
but deep down or inside you that you have it, and
your
you always
potential is
want to go out
always
there and do that,
when you
have
hit
that PB,
when
or
you
win
hit
that club championship
exactly.
like you did,
You hit that one
It's
good
just-
shot and all right, that's my potential. And you want to try and replicate that potential multiple times throughout a round and piece together a score. And it's a crazy thing. I don't want to take too much more of your time, but
No, golf is amazing. I love it. It's my passion now,
but now you're a dad, dude. That's your
Yeah, I'm
true
a dad.
passion.
Definitely. I mean,
How
I
stoked
definitely
are you,
didn't
dude?
get to play a whole lot of golf now with work and family life, but I wouldn't trade anything for the world. Little kid's the greatest thing ever.
It's pretty cool to watch you, kind of grow into your own with that. I mean, like we're trying to get Sloan to do her little backflip thing, and I'm like, of course Nate's teaching his daughter like the form and how to set a backflip at a year old, dude. Like, I mean, you're just teaching her. Don't teach her to jump off roofs into pools and stuff.
Not 4-foot poles, no.
You've always had that loose screw. Nate, dog, I'm glad we got this done. I appreciate you taking the time. I know it's not always your favorite thing, but epic, dude.
No,
It's good
thanks for having
yeah,
me.
it's
This
good
is
to hear your
awesome.
story. I know your story so well, but to hear it a little more in depth and
No, and it brings back a whole lot of memories too that you don't think about every day.
yeah, and like I said,
Well-
I forget everything. It's kind of embarrassing. So it's good for me to remember that you were a
Buying
mogul.
all those medals and hanging up in my
Yeah,
room.
I forgot you were a mogul skier. So thanks for reminding me,
That's awesome.
dude. Epic.
That's awesome.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks, David James.
Later, bro.